Oh dear, where do I even begin? I've been to many institutions in my lifetime, but Adrian College, Adrian, takes the cake for being a complete and utter disaster. I mean, I've seen better run establishments in war zones. As I stepped onto their campus, I couldn't help but feel a sense of unease. The dorms, oh the dorms, they looked like they were straight out of a horror movie. Molds and leaks everywhere, trash piled up to the ceiling in the trash room. I mean, who does that? And don't even get me started on the food. It was as if they were trying to poison us. I swear, I've tasted better cooked meals at a middle school cafeteria. But of course, that wasn't the worst of it. If you were behind on tuition, you couldn't even get food from the campus. Can you imagine? You're already struggling to make ends meet, and then they take away your basic human rights. It's like they wanted us to starve. And to top it all off, you couldn't even log into your online portal to view grades or participate in sports. It was as if they were holding our education hostage. And the so-called administration, forget about it. They were as useful as a chocolate teapot, unresponsive, unhelpful, and completely out of touch with reality. I mean, I've seen more empathy in a snake's heart. They didn't care about the students. They only cared about lining their pockets with our tuition money. But you know, it's not like we were just sitting ducks. Oh no, we tried to fight back. We asked for help, for guidance, for someone, anyone, to listen to our pleas. But no, the administration was too busy counting their money to care. It was like they were saying, "You're just a bunch of pesky students, what do you know?" And the professors? Oh boy, they were straight out of a bad sitcom. Clueless, uncaring, and completely unqualified to teach. I mean, I've seen high school teachers who were more competent. They didn't care about our education. They only cared about getting a paycheck. It was like they were saying, "You're just a bunch of brainless drones. Don't worry about learning, just memorize and regurgitate." The campus itself, more like a ghost town. There was nothing to do, nowhere to go, no one to talk to. It was like being trapped in a never-ending nightmare. And the athletic facilities, forget about it. They were as ancient as the pyramids. Outdated, poorly maintained, and completely unfit for human use. I mean, what kind of institution scams its students like that? What kind of people do that? It's like they were saying, "Ha, you're just a bunch of suckers. We can take your money and give you nothing in return." And to top it all off, the career services were a joke. They didn't care about helping us find internships or jobs. They only cared about padding their stats. I swear, Adrian College, Adrian, is a plague on humanity. It's a cancer, a tumor, a festering wound that needs to be cut out. And to all you prospective students out there, listen to me. Stay away from this place. It's a trap, a scam, a nightmare.
I am going to talk about how the businesses near Adrian College in Adrian generally feel, and then I will show you why that feeling comes from the same patterns I have found in many of the reviews. First, most of the places that line the streets around the college give the same impression. They tend to be cheap in price but cheap in quality. They often forget the basics like a smile or a timely order, and they seem to think that waiting forever is part of the service. That is the picture that the reviews paint, and it is the picture that a traveler should keep in mind when stepping out of the campus. Shops that call themselves galleries near Adrian College feel more like a joke than a destination. The idea of a gallery full of items that nobody really needs is already odd, and the few comments I have read even mention hairdressers who seem to have had one too many drinks. The atmosphere feels half serious and half confused, which makes a casual shopper wonder if they are really walking into a store or a prank. Mexican food places near Adrian College tell a similar story. They all seem to move at the speed of a snail, even when there are only a few guests. Guests have told me about water that arrives without the promised lemon, about orders that disappear for almost an hour, and about plates that look like they were thrown together by a robot with no sense of flavor. The salsa is described as warm tomato sauce that forgot the spice. The tamales are said to be frozen and dry, and the enchiladas can arrive with only a side of bland sauce. One reviewer even said the whole experience was worse than a fast food chain that everyone knows. The staff often appear distracted, talking with each other more than with the customers, and when a problem is raised, the response can be blunt and even rude. The owner of one location has been quoted as refusing a refund and sending the customer away in a harsh tone. All of these details create a picture of a Mexican restaurant that is cheap in price but costly in frustration. Nightlife spots such as clubs near Adrian College also share a common thread. They tend to be places that feel meant for an older crowd, and younger visitors are warned that they will not have a good time. The bartenders have been reported to act unprofessional, to kiss each other behind the bar, and to pocket change from customers. The drinks themselves are described as tasting like freezer liquor with a sugary rim rather than a crafted cocktail. The atmosphere can become hostile when some patrons become overly loud after a few beers, making the whole night feel uncomfortable. The menu is often limited, and the locals can be rude to newcomers, adding another layer of unease. Even the more upscale lounges that try to sell cigars and whiskey near Adrian College fall into the same pattern. Once they were praised for class and quiet conversation, but recent comments say the price of drinks has risen while the level of service has slipped. Visitors have felt harassed by overly attentive men, have been ignored by staff for several minutes, and have left because the bar seemed to have forgotten the basic rule of greeting a guest. The space may still look beautiful, but the silence is broken by rude remarks and a lack of friendly help. What this all means for a traveler is simple. Expect slow service, expect food that may be bland or poorly prepared, expect staff who might be distracted or even rude, and expect prices that do not match the quality. If you are looking for a quick bite or a night out, you may want to consider alternatives outside the immediate college area. A short drive could take you to places where the water really has a lemon, where the salsa sings, and where the bartender actually remembers to smile. My advice as someone who does not like being taken for a ride is to be cautious.
Look for places that have consistent positive feedback, check the latest reviews, and don't be afraid to walk away if the first impression feels wrong. In a town where many businesses seem to have lost the habit of treating customers kindly, a little extra research can save you a lot of disappointment. Remember, the patterns are clear: cheap, slow, and sometimes rude. Choose wisely, and you may still find a hidden gem, but be prepared for the possibility that many of the doors you open will lead to the same weary experience.
Businesses near Adrian College, Adrian, you know. They can be tricky sometimes, like not all of them, but some. They try to take advantage, especially if you're just visiting, you know. Tourists come for 2 weeks, think everything is fine, but then Like there was this one time, a whole retail and check fraud ring in the area. They were stealing from stores using fake checks, just lying. One guy, Austin Richardson, got caught organized retail fraud using computers to commit crimes. Like, how stupid do you have to be? You think you can just take what isn't yours. Probably thought he'd never get caught. But guess what? He did, and now, probably sitting somewhere regretting it, or maybe not. Some people never learn. And then there was this woman, Catherine Ellis, 50 years old, shoplifting from J.C. Penney and Carlton Cards. Like, really? At 50, stealing stuff worth up to $1,000. What was she thinking? Tourists come here, maybe buy a little souvenir, and then people like her just take. No care, no shame. She got arrested, obviously, but still. It is sad, you know. Makes you wonder how many others are doing the same.